What's up, everybody? Dead Joke Nation back again. Here we go. Episode 4 of Thoughts in Gaming. Today, obviously, we're going to be talking about Batman Arkham Knight. One of my favorite games that I've ever played in my life. Hands down. This will be a spoiler episode. If you haven't played this game yet, I'm sorry, but that's on you. This game is not only amazing, but it's been out for... When did Arkham Knight come out? 2016? I really want to say it came out in like 2015, 2016. So it's been a while. And you can find it pretty cheap. PlayStation Plus, anywhere you go, you can find it pretty cheap. And we're just going to go through the main categories that I normally go through. Visuals, combat / gameplay, music, stuff like that. But like I said, this will be spoilers. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. Alright, so Arkham Knight, man. This takes place directly after Arkham City. So in Arkham City, at the end of Arkham City, Joker died. Died. And I know when Arkham Knight was first announced, a lot of people didn't want the Joker to be in the game at all. And I was kind of one of those people. Even though I'm a huge fan of the Joker, I was kind of one of those people that didn't really want him to be the main focus. Because, you know, the first two games focused on Joker. You know what I'm saying? Even Arkham Origins focused on Joker. But they kind of found a way to sprinkle him in without making him the main focus. Now, before I go any further, I know that when they showed this... Now, I know in the previous episode, I think it was episode 3, I talked about games shown at E3, right? And how games shown at E3 can visually look different from the retail version. Arkham Knight was not in this category at all. Arkham Knight, when it was showed at E3, it looked exactly how it was shown at E3 when it released retail. It was really no difference, virtually no difference. And with that said, I know a lot of people, when they first announced who the main villain was, the Arkham Knight, Rocksteady developers was saying, like, we as comic book readers, we knew who the Arkham Knight was from the guns, his build, the way he looked, the way he carried himself. It was Red Hood, aka Jason Todd. We knew that. Rocksteady, and this, I remember this so clearly because I read so many articles on it. Rocksteady tried so hard to tell us that it was not Red Hood or Jason Todd. They tried so hard. They was like, no, it's a brand new character. You guys are wrong, blah, blah. And then what happens? Play the game, and it's Red Hood. So, that's that. Like I said, the story takes place after Arkham City. Batman is not... He's not mourning the Joker per se, but it's like he's haunted by the Joker. So remember in Arkham City, he was injected with essentially Joker's blood. That is pretty much still the case here. Like, he still has the blood inside of him. But this story follows actually a few main villains. You have Scarecrow. Remember at the end of Arkham City or Arkham Asylum, Scarecrow was taken by Killer Croc, and we thought he was dead. No, Scarecrow comes back in Arkham Knight with a vengeance, trying to get revenge on Gotham City, and he has a brand new fear toxin that is like fear toxin mixed with fucking steroids. Is pretty devastating. This game did such a great job, and the thing is, Scarecrow, I believe, is such an underrated villain amongst the Batman mythos. Like, he's such an underrated villain. He's very intelligent, no combat prowess, but his intelligence to me rivals that of like the Riddler. You know, he can get pretty smart. But yeah, he proves to be a pretty big adversary for Batman in this game. So Scarecrow is one villain. Then we have the Arkham Knight, aka Jason Todd, aka Red Hood. Now, do they call him Red Hood? I don't know if they call him Red Hood in this game, but it's Jason Todd. And I'll get more on him later. But yeah, the story follows him. This gives the game a reason to evacuate the city because of Scarecrow's fear toxin. Like, in the very beginning of the game, he tells people, you know, if you don't want to be here, then you need to leave, basically. Or he's going to release the fear toxin. And the only ones who stay are a handful of cops and Gordon, Batman, his team, and basically all the villains. So that gives Rocksteady a reason to be like, oh, that's why there's no civilians in this city. So that's that. And then the story just basically follows Batman fighting people, various villains, trying to get down to the bottom of the Scarecrow toxin. And then once Jason Todd is introduced, the Arkham Knight, he's trying to find out who the Arkham Knight is, because in this game, when they first meet, he's matching Batman blow for blow. You know what I'm saying? And Batman's like, oh shit, who is this bull? He kind of fighting me hand to hand, and I don't know what to do, so we got to find out who he is. Oracle, Toby. It's crazy. It's crazy shit. All right, so that's the story in a nutshell, right? Like that's the basic synopsis. The visuals in this game. Okay, so this game came out. I really want to say it came out. I really want to say it was 2016. For some reason, that number sticks out in my head. But we're in 2020. We are in 2020 right now. And this game, visually, still holds a candle to a lot of games released 2 months ago. The one thing about this game that I love is the lighting effects. Gotham City is both dreary, because it's always raining. It's both dreary and vibrant. I know that sounds weird, but that's just how I can describe it. There's lights and stuff, but at the same time, they capture the basic ambiance of Gotham City from like the comics, and it's very impressive. Everything from how Batman moves to how his cape flows to like how rain trickles down his cowl onto his face, sweat, dirt, and in classic Rocksteady fashion. Throughout the game, Batman takes damage to his suit. He does end up getting a new suit, but that takes damage as well. And that's one thing I love about these games, is that they show he's still human, right? Like they show that he's not some kind of superhero, because technically Batman isn't a superhero. But his suit takes damage. So that's great. The other villains and stuff, great animations. Great motion capture, if it is motion capture. Great voice. The voice acting is great. Kevin Conroy returns. Mark Hamill returns as Joker. And yes, Joker does return because, like I said, Joker doesn't return the physical aspect, but more of a mental aspect in Batman's head. And then only in Batman's head. There's actually a segment in the game where you're pretty much fighting inside your own head, and you're fighting the Joker, trying to get him out and trying to become sane again. Because the whole thing is, Batman was on the verge of turning into a Joker. So that was that. Batman had actually, he was trying to find a cure to the Joker virus, essentially. And he had like a few people in prison that showed promise to create a cure. But those people actually inevitably ended up turning into the Joker. And it come to find out, the blood that's inside of Batman, the Joker blood inside of Batman, is actually turning him into the Joker, which would be pretty devastating if you think about it. Like, imagine Joker and Batman did a fusion dance, right? Fusion high, and then fucking Orbitari earrings or whatever. That's what was happening to Batman. Excuse me, he was becoming a Batman Joker hybrid, and that is fucking devastating, right? So that's that. But visually, this game is one of the best games to this date that I've ever played in my life. Guns are amazing, and yeah, I mean, there's really nothing much else to say. Like that's that. Moving on to combat. So this is where the Batman games always shine, right? Like all the Arkham games, I'm going to go in order chronologically. Arkham Origins, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight. All four of these games have something in common. Even if you don't like Arkham Origins, you cannot deny the combat system was amazing throughout all four games. And it's crazy because a lot of games nowadays, Spider-Man PS4, a lot of games take inspiration from the Arkham games as far as their combat system goes. So their combat system, if you didn't know, which you should know, but it basically is a multi-targeting combat system. And you can switch between different enemies on the fly, right? You can incorporate gadgets seamlessly into combat. You have a counter button which adds into the fluidity of the combat system. So if somebody's attacking you from behind, no matter what, a little lightning icon will pop up over your head. You hit triangle, Batman will block it, counter it, and then you can go about your day, right? And like I said, you can incorporate the gadget seamlessly. You can hit a button and he'll grapple, clotheslines. He'll reel him in, clothesline somebody. He'll set explosive gel. He'll use batarangs. Everything you can imagine, and it is so good. You have finishing moves, and the enemy types are very, very well implemented. So you have like shielded enemies that can only be taken out from behind, giggity. You have enemies with like electric powered like rods, giggity. You have knife enemies that you have to like hold down the counter button in order to dodge and telegraph and stuff like that. You have the normal enemies with pipes, bats, obviously enemy with guns. And then we get into pretty much where the Arkham games shine is their Predator system. So the Predator system is where you get to certain areas, right? And they'll put you in an area, but they'll tell you pretty much, they'll show you that you can't take these enemies head on. You could try, but it's not ideal. So instead they have you on top of gargoyles, on top of rooftops, and you have to plan your attack accordingly, taking out enemies strategically in order to gain the advantage. So for example, there's a couple of mission Predator scenarios where I'm on top of a gargoyle. I activate my detective mode, which detective mode is basically, I think you hit L1, and basically he gets these white lenses over his cowl. You can see through walls, you can see the heat signature of enemies, you can see their heart rate, if they're afraid or not. Now, to my knowledge, I'm not sure if them being afraid plays such a big part in this game. Like, I know if they're afraid enough, they'll just start shooting manically, and that'll give you an opening or whatever. But I know the enemies are not dumb. Like, the enemies are pretty smart. Like, if there's only 2 enemies left, they will go back to back to watch each other's back, and then that creates a little bit more difficulty for you. But basically, yeah, you're on top of a gargoyle. You have you can hide in the shadows. You can do inverted takedowns. You can grab enemies from behind walls. And yeah, you just plan your attack strategically and accordingly, and you'll win, right? But yeah, the combat system is great. Now, in this game, they also introduced the Batmobile. So the Batmobile was teased in basically all the games. I remember in Arkham Origins, they showed the Batmobile being built in the Batcave. It wasn't front and center, but you could see it under a tarp. It didn't look like this, but the Batmobile is one of the most badass things you can utilize in this game. It is a tank with like the speed of like a Lamborghini. It is crazy. It can also transform. So you go from this mode and the wheels kind of come out, everything just kind of morphs and you can transform. And all this is on the fly. It's up to you if you want to do it. You hold a button down or you can set it to toggle. They have the tank stealth missions, which to me, I didn't like too much because the stealth missions in a tank, that to me doesn't make much sense. But the Batmobile is a great addition to this game. I know a lot of people are so hyped to get in the Batmobile. And the thing that I love how they did it was you can literally seamlessly jump into the Batmobile. You can remote summon it, right? Like some kind of like fucking Tesla. You can remote summon the Batmobile, jump into it, do what you got to do, hit a button, it'll eject him out, and you can just go right back to gliding throughout the city. That is amazing. And they implemented it so well. Now, like I said, the stealth missions in the tank don't really suit me too well. Like, if I'm in the tank, I don't want to be stealthy. That, whatever. But yeah, Rocksteady, y'all did good, man. Y'all did good with the Batmobile. Great implementation. Great means of combat. So, I mean, obviously you have your big enemies, like your tough enemies, right? Like the enemies that can only be beaten a certain way. Now, the one thing, so I'm talking really highly, but you know what? I'm going to get into the music. So the Arkham games have been pretty well known for their soundtrack, right? Like they They give every villain, they give Batman a good theme, Gotham City as a whole. So the music is really well done. I'm not sure who composes the music, but it's really good in intense situations and just regular situations. If you're talking to an NPC or whatever, is really well done. Now, is this game perfect? No. I don't have a numerical system, but if I did, I'd give it a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. Where it falls short is the ending. So the ending, I didn't like the ending. When you finally confront Red Hood, a lot of people wanted a kind of like a quick time event, hand-to-hand style scenario. That was not the case. With this game, you fight Red Hood essentially through a Predator mission. That's it. And it was very anticlimactic. I didn't really like it too much. But other than that, man, look, the game is amazing. I can't stress that enough. It is an amazing, amazing title. And it will go down in history as probably one of the best games that ever released. I can guarantee that. So yeah, I'm actually, I've lost count how many times I've played this game. Bottom line, I've lost count. But yeah, that's my thoughts. That's pretty much my thoughts on Batman Arkham Knight. It's nothing else for me to say. Nothing else for me to say. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 4 of Thoughts in Gaming. I will see you guys in episode 5. I'm still not sure what game I'm going to review, but I'm sure it'll be something that I'll probably make another fucking long video about. With that said, I hope to see you guys next time. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.